Welcome to the demonstration of the ED-916, which is a semi-annual program outputs questionnaire. In this demonstration, you will see how a grantee under the Trade Adjustment Assistance for Firms program might complete one of these questionnaires. We'll walk through the questionnaire for a sample grantee and provide helpful hints and clarifications along the way. Thank you so much for helping us, Miriam.
Thank you. You're welcome. Just wanted to welcome all the TAACs who are going to be looking at this video to learn. And I just wanted to pre-qualify by saying what I'm doing is a demonstration as if I was a TAAC, and how I respond during this demo may not be the way you individually as a TAAC would respond. You're going to be filling this out according not only to your TAAC statement of work, but to the business practices of your specific TAAC. So thank you, Bernadette, for hosting this. All right, and I'm ready to go.
So when a TAAC is due to report on their ED-916 questionnaire, we will send an email to their primary contact that we have on file. And when they receive this email, it will have general information on what the ED-916 is, the type of information that we're collecting, and the deadline. And we'll have useful resources at the bottom of the email that will take you to our website, that will take you to a PDF version of the ED-916 if you wanted to draft on there before you completed the responses in Qualtrics, and also to an FAQ document that we have put together, and we'll have a lot of the answers to some questions that you may have. So we encourage you to look at that document first before reaching out to us at programevaluation@eda.gov with any questions that you may have.
Okay, so the next step will be for me to click on the link. This is the email that I received. This is what you will receive, and now I will click this link to start the questionnaire. Or if you have a problem, you can copy and paste the URL into your browser. But I'm going to click on the link.
So once you click on the link, it will take you to Qualtrics, where you can complete your responses to the ED-916 questionnaire. As you can see on the top, it tells you exactly what award number you're reporting on, and it gives you general information on what the questionnaire is about. One quick thing of note is that not all categories of questions will apply to the activities that you've undertaken as part of the project under this current grant, and that's completely okay. You enter those categories that are relevant to your scope of work. You can skip categories that are not relevant. You can enter NAs. If the question is not relevant, only answer this based on your scope of work.
Okay, so this is the beginning I'm reading for the Dear EDA grantee. It's describing what the questionnaire is intended for. This is semi-annual. This question, if you're a recipient of the Capital Challenge Award, TAACs are not recipients of the Capital Challenge Award, so you will not click this link. And then, if I scroll down, I can hit this arrow here, which brings me to the first page of the survey. And so this is asking me if my organization received an EDA Capital Challenge grant, and the answer is no. This is describing all of the types of outputs that I'm about to answer this questionnaire on. And again, as said earlier, not all of these categories necessarily are applicable to the Trade Adjustment Assistance Centers, and that's perfectly fine. So you'll see in some sections throughout, I'm going to be selecting NA in some sections. I have my award number, and the target beneficiaries of the TAAC grant would be a firm. It would not be any of these other organizations. It would be a firm. Did the grant support leasing or leasing of facilities or leasing acquisitions of equipment? The answer I'm answering is no. It's asking if the grant supported events, networking, or referral activities. I'm answering yes, because this includes the outreach activities and referral activities that the TAAC engages in recruiting new firms and also referring other firms that may not meet the necessary requirements for the TAAC program, as well as contacts that a TAAC would have as part of their statement of work in interacting with other federal and non-federal partners. What type of events have you held under the scope of work? I'm going to put networking, but you can also in the other section be more specific about the types of events that you held. I'm just going to put I held. In semi-annually, I held 3 events. How many participants? I'm just going to say 10. How many participants attended? I'll say 20. Focus of the events is going to be other, and for this section I'm going to specify what I mean by other. Type in the section. Here I just put in other, and that we engage with a number of federal and non-federal partners to share information about the program and to refer firms who may not be eligible for the TAAC program. Now, this says, if applicable, specify the industry that these events focus on using NAICS codes. So because TAACs serve firms that have a variety of NAICS codes under the manufacturing umbrella, I'm going to use a generic code of 33999, which includes miscellaneous manufacturing related NAICS codes. I don't know, so would you want just a general code, or do you want every code that the firm, that I will question, every code for the firms the TAAC served?
I think as specific as you can get here, the better. So this is why we encourage grantees to go through and familiarize themselves with the questionnaire and prepare and have these codes somewhere ready, so that when it's time to complete this, they will have as specific the NAICS codes as possible. But if you don't have the specific codes, we would rather you have something general than nothing at all.
Okay, so just as a question, so if a TAAC has, let's say in semi-annually, they've assisted 30 to 40 clients or firms doing their petitions in different areas, would you want them to include this just with commas in between the codes? Or
yes.
Okay.
If they can include it with commas in between the code, that's fine. And also if they don't have everything ready for this in terms of responding to this questionnaire, but then they have it somewhere and it will be easier for them to send us a file, like say like an Excel sheet, that would be fine as well.
Okay, I can incorporate that in their reporting so they can have a record of that. All right, thank you. Going to move on. And since the start of the grant, have I referred clients to? I'm going to select another federal agency, because this could happen if a TAAC has a client or a firm who isn't eligible for TAAF. As part of the statement of work, we expect them, like I said earlier, to refer to other federal agencies. So I'm going to click other federal agency. I'm just going to make up some numbers here. Let's say I referred 3. How many clients referred will be 3. Another federal program, 3. And how many clients were referred to another federal agency program? 3. Did this grant support research and development or commercialization activities? I'm going to select no.
So at this point, I would love for you to click on the 3 horizontal bars in the upper left-hand corner there, so that we can just demonstrate how to navigate throughout.
Okay.
So as you can see, this shows you which categories you've already completed and which ones you have yet to go. If grantees know for certain there are some categories that are not applicable to them, this is one way to skip to, let's say, mentoring, coaching, and training instead of going through. However, we find that sometimes it's just easier to go through as you are currently going through and selecting no for each one in linear fashion. But this is another option for grantees if they have some data right now but don't have it all at the time they're initially completing the questionnaire.
Okay. No. Does this grant support financing activities? So I'm going to select yes, and my thinking on this question is concerning the part of their business recovery adjustment plans that have, there's a financial category. So for this exercise, I'm going to select yes. For the following question, only enter a number. Don't use $signs or any other notations. So because we normally, some TAACs may do this, but I'm not sure if this is a part of their adjustment plan. Usually it's about getting their financial accounting systems in line or updating accounting systems in terms of securing other funding. For this exercise, I'm going to select 1, but this may not be applicable to the TAAC, but just for this, I'm going to select 0 for this one. How many clients did you assist with grant or loan applications? I'm going to select 0. How many clients did you assist with other types of financial assistance, IG contracts? So I have a question on this. As part of the tax statement of work, the business recovery plans are executed by consultants, which are hired by where the TAAC pays a portion, the firm pays a portion. Every single client has a consultant, but I think this question is more on, did this firm outside of the work obtain resources for other financial assistance? So I'm just going to put that out there, but TAACs, as they're going through this, really need to think this through to determine if that was the case. For this question, I'm going to select not applicable. Oh. Oh, did I select? Oh, I'm going to select NA. I think I put text in when it should have been NA. Let's see. Okay. How many grant or other types of assistance did your organization apply for in support of the work? It would be NA. Because the TAF program appropriated funds are only to be used for TAF appropriations and no other funds, so our organizations wouldn't be using an additional award or any other financial assistance to fulfill their scope of work. So I'm going to select that. Okay, for trade adjustment assistance firms, program grantees, how many firms served had projects in their business recovery plan that included financial activities? I'm going to select 10. Okay, so I accidentally clicked this, but then just to show you the page it brought me to, which shows.
Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say was shows how far, what percentage of this section I've accomplished.
Yes.
And go back. Okay. Did the grant support? I'm sorry.
So if you go back to click here to view all categories.
Okay.
You would just click on the finance and support. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the number of firms would be 10 that had financing activities as part of their business recovery plan. Did this grant support mentoring, coaching, or training activities. I am going to select yes because mentoring and coaching is part of the technical assistance that TAACs engage in with firms that are interested in the program. And again, I'm asked to enter only a number, or if not applicable, and select NA. How many trainings or skill assistance sessions or workshops did our organization hold? I'm going to select NA. Boot camps, I'm going to select NA because that's an activity that TAACs would be engaged in terms of working with firms. Mentoring or coaching sessions, I'm going to select 10 because I'm just going to select 10 as an arbitrary number, but this would include technical assistance provided to firms that are seeking to become certified for TAAF, and as well as putting their AP packages together. Did your organization provide any business assistance to clients, beneficiaries? Export assistance or advice, because that's part of an AP. Marketing and sales would be also part of an AP. Product development would also be a part of the production or manufacturing part of the AP. And I'm just going to select those three. If there are others, I just wouldn't include them here, but I'm going to just use these three for now. How many firms receive the services? I'm going to say 10. Firms and stakeholders are the same entity, so I'm just going to put 10 again. For TAAF grantees, how many firms had projects in their business recovery plans that were for the purpose of mentoring, coaching, and or training activities? This would be for firms with an AP, where part of the AP is to provide training and resources for their employees. So for this, I'm going to just use the number 10. If this doesn't apply to the APs that you used during this reporting period, then you would put NA. Does this grant support planning and institutional development activities? I'm going to select no. And grantees, just as a whole TAACs, are not involved in the SEDS process.
So as you can see, every time you select no to a gateway question, you're able to skip all of the questions that are within that section. You don't have to scroll through them or click NA in that section. If you say, no, this is not relevant to my scope of work, then Qualtrics just allows you to skip through that entire section.
Okay, great. Let's see. And is the information on reported outputs available at the county census tract or tribal level? I'm going to select no.
I will say, if this information is available, we would really appreciate it if you would provide it, especially at the census tract level. We are engaged in a huge effort to try to have exact location for where like our awards are having impact, and so any help that you can offer to us in that exercise would be really helpful. So if you have geographic information as part of your award, as part of the activities that you're undertaking, we would really appreciate if you provided that information here.
All right, thank you. And now, we use any of the tools below to assess the progress of the project? And to the best of my knowledge, but this could be different, TAACs do not use these tools. So I'm going to select NA. Or if there are other tools, TAACs, that you have, include them in the other section, any of the tools that you use to assess the progress of the project or in the plan. So for this, I'm just going to select NA, but like I said, if you have tools you use, please include them in the other section. And okay.
You're now at the narrative section, and this is the last section of the questionnaire. And here we just want to know if there's any additional comments that you have about the progress that you've had with your award, any success stories. It may be too early right now for you to have any success story, but any additional comments that you want to add as part of your reporting, this is the place to enter it.
Okay, I'm going to actually paste a success story, not using the name of a state that the firm's in, but paying homage to my hometown as an example. And this is actually an example that's used in our annual report to Congress. So you could use this format, TAACs, or any other format you wish, but this is just something, you know, as how I would, as a TAAC, fill this section out. And as of the date of this report, how many sponsored activities have benefited distressed communities or underserved populations? Dove, this is a question, TAACs, you'll have to answer individually. When I'm a distressed community, I'm thinking disaster. An underserved population, I'm thinking more of the population of the region versus the firms being underserved. So just fill this out as you deem appropriate, but for this exercise, I'm not going to fill this. I'm just going to say NA. But if you do have this information, it would be appreciated if you put that here. And then click next. And am I ready to complete?
So that you would need to click back on facilities and equipment. Yep.
Oh, see that? There you go. Okay.
And just no, and then you would just press the forward arrow all the way through. And this can be a good way to review your answers as well.
Okay. And now here I've got everything checked. And click X. Yes.
And it's just going to ask you if you're sure you're ready to submit. And if you click yes, there's a note. There's a note here that once you submit, you will no longer be able to access your questionnaire. And this is a demo, so we're going to click yes and submit, but you will have 30 days to complete your questionnaire. And during that time, you can exit and return to it as many times as you want. Just by clicking on the link, it will save all of your responses as you've entered. So there's no rush, you have 30 days, but once you click yes and submit your questionnaire, you will no longer be able to access it.
Okay, I'm going to click yes and submit.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to download the PDF of my responses.
Yes.
That is a great idea because that allows you to keep the data for future reporting or your own tracking needs.
Yes. And this is just confirmation. So you will also receive a thank you email in addition to this, and that's your confirmation that you've actually submitted your response. If you don't receive any of those things, you don't get to this page with the option to download a PDF of your responses and a thank you email. You've more than likely not submitted your questionnaire. And what will happen is when we have to send out reminder emails to those grantees that haven't yet submitted their questionnaires, you will be included in that email because Qualtrics is showing you as an quote unquote unfinished respondent. So just make sure that you follow all the way through with submitting and get your thank you email and land on this page, and that's your confirmation that your responses have been recorded.
All right, and also TAACs, remember that we are, as part of your allocation formula, still tracking your timely responses to all reports that are due. So I would strongly encourage you, just as my colleagues have, as to download the responses, save a copy of the email so that when it comes time for us to calculate the allocation formula, if there's any discrepancy, you've got some documentation that you indeed met the requirement. All right, and that was great. That was very easy. You know, it wasn't too labor intensive, and everything was well spelled out. And I think we're ready. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Hopefully this was helpful for everyone. As always, reach out with any questions you have as you prepare for your questionnaire. Thank you.
Thank you.